one who's passed away. You make dua for the one who's passed away. After a week or 40 days, we do khatams, and all of this is permissible. You can do isali thawab for them, you can recite Quran and send a reward to them. But you know, expressing sadness and exaggerating in that, it is not permitted. So after Imam Hussein radiallahu anhu has departed from this apparent world, he was martyred, and of course the martyrs are alive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. So this session is not to it's not to reignite your sorrow. It's not to be sad and cry about it all over again. The purpose of it is to learn something. So once we've understood this, inshallah, then we can proceed, inshallah. Imam Hussein radiallahu anhu, who is Imam Hussein? Imam Hussein, he is the son of the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the grandson of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the one about whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Husayn minni wa ana min Husayn. Ahabba Allah man ahabba Husayna. Husayn sibtun min al-asbat." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Husayn is from me and I am from Husayn. Husayn minni wa ana min Husayn. Ahabba Allah man ahabba Husayna." Allah loves the one who loves Husayn. Husayn sibtun min al-asbat. Husayn is a tree from the trees, meaning his progeny will grow. His progeny will not end over there. This is the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from whose body the fragrance of paradise would emanate. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, when you go to a beautiful garden and you find a beautiful rose in that garden, and then you put that rose close to your nose to smell its fragrance, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would smell his grandsons because of the fragrance of paradise that would emit from their bodies. This was the blessed jasad of Imam Hussein, the blessed body of Imam Hussein. What can be said about the dhat of Imam Hussein and the ruh of Imam Hussein? The body is created from the earth. His body is emanating the fragrance of paradise. What about him himself? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Huma rayhanataya fil jannah, fi dunya." They are my flowers in this world. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein radiyallahu anhu. So these are very important figures. These are very important figures. You will well know how much love you have with your grandparents. So can you imagine whose first food was the blessed saliva of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from which the revelation and the Quran was delivered to all of humanity. That was the first khuraq, the first food, the first nourishment of these two individuals. This is Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein radiyallahu anhu. They're not normal people. They are the saints of the saints. They are the king of the saints. In fact, it is even mentioned that anyone who receives wilayah, the friendship of Allah, it is through the Ahlul Bayt. It is through the Ahlul Bayt. Imam Ahmad al-Bakhani mentions this in the 9th volume of his Fatawa. So these are great people. After now the timeline, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he declared his prophethood. He was a prophet well before. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, "Ya Rasulullah, when were you a prophet?" And he said that I was a prophet even when Adam was between soul and body. Even then I was a prophet. So it is not that the Prophet ﷺ's prophethood began at 40 years. He announced it at 40 years. After he announced his prophethood sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he remained and blessed Makkah al-Mukarramah with his presence for 13 years. And then he migrated to Al-Madinah al-Munawwarah. That year in which he migrated, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu in his khilafah, he declared this as 0 al-Hijri. From this, the Hijri calendar began. The Prophet ﷺ, he departed from this apparent world at the age of 63 years. So that would be in 10 al-Hijri. After the departure of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he ruled for about 2 years and 4 months, about 2.5 years. Then Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu ruled for 10 years. How many years is that in total from Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Umar? You guys are not good mathematicians. 12.5. He's a better mathematician than all of you. And then Sayyidina Uthman bin Affan radiallahu anhu, he ruled for 12 years. How many years is that young man now? 24. How sharp he is, mashallah. And then Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu ruled for 5 years. 29.5. And then Sayyidina Imam Hassan ruled for half a year. 30 years. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had said in one of the hadith, the mafhum of which is that the khilafah, the caliphate, upon the way of nubuwwah, upon the way of prophethood, would be for 30 years. So these caliphs are known as the Khulafa al-Rashidun. These 5 caliphs. Who are they? The first caliph of Islam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. The second caliph of Islam, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. The third caliph of Islam, Sayyidina Uthman bin Affan radiallahu anhu. The fourth caliph of Islam, Sayyidina Ali karramallahu wajhahu al-kareem. And the fifth is who? Sayyidina Imam Hassan radiallahu anhu. After this, Imam Hassan radiallahu anhu, he gave the caliphate to none other than Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. Before this, all of these individuals were from the Quraysh. But now Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah was from the tribe of Banu Umayyah. So the caliphate was given to them. Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he is a companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's a Sahabi. And he is not just any Sahabi. He is that Sahabi who is cut. That Sahabi whom the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, by his command, he would write down the revelation of the Quran. For many years, Imam Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he wrote down the revelation of the Quran. He is Katibul Wahi. He is a Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the Sahaba are those about whom our Master Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, أصحابك النجوم فبأيهم اقتديتم اهتديتم. My companions are like the stars. Whomever you follow, you will be guided. Every Sahabi is a star of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and a star of the Sharia. In another narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he gave the example of his Ahlul Bayt. He said that the example of my Ahlul Bayt is like the Safina of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam. It is like the boat of Sayyidina Nuh ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salatu wasalam. You know, in the previous times when they would travel, when they would go on a ship or a boat, how would they travel? They didn't have Waze. You know what Waze is? Google Maps. They didn't have this sort of stuff. So how would they go across the sea? They would look at the stars and they would travel. So the boat is needed so that you don't sink. And the stars are needed so that you reach your destination. The Ahlul Bayt is needed so that you don't sink into the hellfire. And the Sahaba are needed so that you can get to paradise. So both of them are necessary. Love for both of them is necessary. Some people, they say they love the Ahlul Bayt, but they curse the Sahaba alayhim ridwan. This is not true love of the Ahlul Bayt. Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah are the ones who love both of them, and that is because of our love for who? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we love all of them. Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah, he ruled for 20 years after that. So the first was 30 years, and then 20 years of Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah. How many years is that in total? 15 years. But what Hijri are you in? How many years was the Prophet ﷺ giving his blessed presence to us in the world? It was for 10 years, isn't it? After the Hijrah. So 10 plus 30 plus 20, how much is that? 60 years. After Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he passes away in 60 al-Hijri. He has a son called Yazid. Now there is difference of opinion amongst the scholars if he was the actual son of Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah or if he was a stepson of Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. But we will just say his son. He came onto the throne. Yazid was his name, and he was someone who was a fasiq. He was a fajr. Fasiq means he would commit sins, and he would do it openly. You know, when you have an evil person on the throne, he will spread his falsehood everywhere. And this guy was like that. He would drink alcohol openly. He would commit many haram, which I don't even want to mention in Charlton Masjid today. Many haram. He would listen to music all day. He would drink alcohol, and many times he would wake up and he would have a hangover due to drinking in the previous night. But of course you cannot blame the father for that. You cannot blame the father for that, because the father, he would invite him to good. If the son doesn't want to listen, you don't blame the father for that. The father may be a righteous person and his son becomes a drug dealer. Do you blame his father for everything that he does? Of course not, because that's his own choice. That's his own choice. Nevertheless, Yazid, when he came into power, he sent ambassadors out, he sent his armies out, and he told people to pledge allegiance to him. And likewise, he sent someone to pledge allegiance for him in Al-Madinatul Munawwara. In Al-Madinatul Munawwara, you had the likes of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, Imam Hussein radiallahu anhu, and many other Sahaba alayhim ridwan. When they came and to take the allegiance from them, they said, we will not pay allegiance to this fasiq and fajr. How can we pay allegiance to someone who is openly declaring war against Allah and His Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam? So they rejected this. Yazid, he knew that if these companions